Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of Davy's Summer Strolls. And a summer stroll in mid-August here in Edinburgh would not be complete unless we had a visit to the world-famous Edinburgh Fringe. And I am here in one of the major hubs of the Edinburgh Fringe, and in George Square, which is one of the centres for most of the activity that goes on during the Fringe Festival, and is now the main campus here in the city of Edinburgh University. And the Fringe has been performing here for a number of years, nearly 75 years, and it is a little bit subdued this year due to the obvious pandemic, and we do not have as much on as we've had in the past. And I suppose it's worth some applause, to note that they've managed to get things on at all. And this is George Square Gardens, And as you can see, a number of people are taking in the sunshine and enjoying the ambience and maybe taking in a show or two. And there are a number of other sort of things going on at the same time in some other venues, such as Bristol Square just behind me to the north, and also down at the Pleasance is another venue that puts on a few shows. I'm now on the sort of south side of George Square, and as you can see, there's a number of modern buildings have sprung up here over the years. Basically started in about late 1960s, early 1970s, and whether your style of architecture is more towards the Gothic or the Georgian or whatever, this is your modernistic, I think they call it brutal architecture, but I'm not an architect, so I wouldn't like to comment further. I'm heading now over towards the west side of George Square, and George Square Gardens during festival time is split in two, and the part that I've just passed is normally occupied by the production company called Assembly, and this side I'm just passing now is occupied by Underbelly. And the big white tent that you see in front of you is usually a massive purple upside down cow with its legs and udders in the air, and it's very attractive to all the sort of youngsters that visit the Fringe, and they get a little bit of a giggle out of it. But due to the reduced nature of this year's Fringe, we've just been left with a sort of white marquee type tent. And as I say, I'm now approaching the west side of George Square, and as you can see, some of the old original Georgian buildings that were built in the mid to late 1770s, and these are now all occupied by the university for various faculties here and there. And here, this is the exit to the Underbelly theme. We'll maybe visit there a little bit later. But as I walk up here and look at these Georgian houses over here, there are a couple of notable residents that stayed here in the years gone by. And in fact, the most notable is this one here at number 25, George Square, which was the early childhood home until he got married of the great Scottish writer Sir Walter Scott, him of Waverley fame, which our station here in Edinburgh is named after his first ever novel, and also The Heart of Midlothian and Ivanhoe, among many others. And he stayed in this house from about the age of 7-year-old, right up, as I say, until he got married, where he then occupied a house in Castle Street in the New Town. And coincidentally, tomorrow, the 15th of August 2021, is the 250th anniversary of Sir Walter Scott's birth, and I believe there will be a number of events taking place to commemorate that sort of milestone. And if that wasn't enough, we only need to move a couple of doors up, and about 100 years later, after Sir Walter Scott's residence, this here house at number 23 was the residence of none other than Dr. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle of Sherlock Holmes fame. And he stayed here for only about 4 or 5 years while he studied medicine at Edinburgh University. And it's unbelievable to think that two of Scotland's greatest authors lived only but 2 doors apart and 100 years apart. And I begin to wonder what both of those great authors and writers and literary giants would think of looking over today. And obviously the square is full of patrons enjoying the festival, and fortunately today the big upside down purple cow is not in their view. But you just wonder whether people like Ivanhoe and Sherlock Holmes, would they have been inspired by the views that these two great authors would have had today had they lived in today's time. Well, there's your wee bit of history for today, and I'm going to carry on round George Square now. And as you look at some of the other more modern buildings that are occupied by the university, and this is mainly the School of Medicine here, and a lot of our doctors and surgeons throughout the world have gained their education in these here buildings. And it's a great sight to see, and a great thing that Edinburgh should be proud of to the medical profession. No doubt there are other medical schools all around the world, but Edinburgh is noted for its fame in that department. Well, I'm just approaching the entrance to the underbelly garden and I might sort of take a little wander in there and partake of a pint or two. As you can see, some people enjoying a bit of food, enjoying the sunshine and all the other things that go with it. It's obvious to the eye that with the pandemic, the festival this year has been dramatically reduced in footfall, and the normal second Saturday of the festival, this place would be absolutely jumping, and you would probably not be able to hear me over the noise of everyone else. I hear you say that might be a godsend, but there you go. So I'm going to wander along here now towards the Assembly box office, see what shows are on offer today, and maybe partake in a little bit of comedy or a little bit of theatre or something like on these lines. I see a poster over here for a group of singers called Out of the Blue, and I saw them here about 3 or 4 years ago, and they are an absolutely fantastic a cappella singing group from down Oxford way, I believe they come from, and they're absolutely fantastic, and I would highly recommend you go and visit them. A couple of other comedians that are here, mostly they're Scottish guys. Mark Nelson's here, also Craig Hill, and the fantastic female ventriloquist Nina Conti, and she actually is appearing right next door here in the Palais de Variété, or the old Spiegel tent as we used to call it. So, thanks very much for your time today. I'm now off to go and enjoy a pint. Catch you all later. Bye for now.